In this video, we'll give you the 2023 Open Championship rankings, tiers, best bets, and long shot plays. I'm Alan Seslowsky of RotoWire.com with the expert, Len Hochberg. Start with the British Open course.
Well, this year, Alan, it's at Royal Liverpool in Hoylake, England. We haven't seen it since 2014 when Rory Mcilroy won, 2006, Tiger Woods won. Look, it's a links course. It's a typical British Open setup. It's hard by Liverpool Bay near the Irish Sea. The wind is the defense. The early weather looks like it's going to be rainy or overcast almost every day. This is what we American golf fans look for in British Opens. There's a new 17th of 139 yards. The 18th has been extended to 609 yards.
Let's start by talking about some of the player rankings in your top 10. As usual, I want to talk about last year's defending champion, Cameron Smith. Where are you going to have him ranked heading into the 2023 Open?
I have him ranked as number one, and not because he's the defending not because he's defending the defending champion, but because the reason he's defending champion is because he plays well on these type courses. His biggest weakness, and weakness is too strong a word, is off the tee. Well, that doesn't matter as much as all the play from 125 yards in, around the green, on the green. He is really imaginative. He is really special there. And we saw that last year at St. Andrews, which is why he won. And he happens to be playing pretty well now. He's finished top 10 in the last two majors that he's played in. He's now with Live Golf. He just won the tournament in London there last week. So a lot of things are aligning very well for Cameron Smith.
Scottie Scheffler has been the consensus number one ranked player in most majors this year. You have him down at number 3.
And that's a hard call. To put him at number 3 when he's the number one player in the world, it takes a little bit of a leap there. But I have Cam Smith at 1, and not to get ahead, but Rory Mcilroy at 2. Look, Scottie Scheffler is great. He finishes top 12 every week for 18 tournaments heading into the Scottish Open. He's just a machine, and he's got a string of top 5s. But interestingly, he's only played in 2 Open Championships. We think of him as being around for a while. Rory Mcilroy is 2 because Rory Mcilroy is there every year at the Open Championship. In the past 7 that he's been in, he's finished 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So Scottie Scheffler at 3 is no real slide on Scottie Scheffler.
To make sure that the audience understands, we have Cameron Smith at 1, Rory Mcilroy at 2, Scottie Scheffler at 3. Is that where the hard tier break is for you?
No, it really isn't. Well, in my rankings, I have 10 guys who I list as the favorites. Now, they're not all equal to one another. I would say that, Viktor Hovland is at 4. I really think he could win this tournament. He came very close last year. He just won the Memorial a few weeks ago. All of a sudden, he knows how to hit his wedge shots, which is imperative this week. So I have him there, and then Brooks Koepka and Jordan Spieth. And I would say maybe there in the top 6 is where I would do my break in the top 10.
All right, so just to review, we talked about Cameron Smith, McIlroy, Scheffler, 1, 2, and 3. You spoke about Viktor Hovland and that you think that he could be an interesting player to win the whole thing. Brooks Koepka at 5, Spieth at 6. Now, with that hard tier break within the top favorites tier, you have Xander Schauffele. What's his outlook as the next tier down?
Xander Schauffele is he's one of the top 5 or 6 players in the world. He's in the major conversation almost every time. He's had 2 top 10s in the majors earlier this year. The other one was a top 20. He won the Scottish Open last year on a links type course, not true links like Royal Liverpool. So he can play in this situation. He is a fantastic driver of the golf ball. If there is wind, especially wind in your face, he is a very powerful driver of the golf ball. So I think he can withstand these conditions better than most. And plus, the rest of his game is pretty darn good as well.
In the Contenders Tier, which you have marked in your rankings, which can be found on RotoWire.com right now or linked in the video description below, is the 11th ranked golfer all the way down through the 20th. Someone that stands out to me is always Tony Finou. You have him ranked at 18th. What's his outlook? Is he appropriately ranked, or did you have a tough time ranking him? Should he be up or down a little bit more?
Yeah, it was a tough call to rank him as low as 18th. I don't think I've had him that low in our rankings for these majors in quite some time, if ever. He's just not playing very well right now. He won the Mexico Open in June, I believe it was, and since then he's just been average at best.
10th ranked golfer Dustin Johnson, 11th ranked Collin Morikawa. Was that a tough rank for you? I mean, you put the tier break there. So what's the real difference between those guys? Is it a bigger gap, or is it a little bit smaller than most think?
No, it's very small. In fact, I was toying with it until the last minute whether to put Collin Morikawa at 10 and Dustin Johnson at 11. Dustin Johnson, he hasn't been playing great. Even before he went to LIV, he was not great, although he did show up nicely at the U.S. Open last month. But he's had 2 great Open championships the last 2 years. Collin Morikawa, of course, won it. He's only been in 2. He won it a couple of years ago, and then he missed the cut. But he's really struggling with his short game, with his putting. We saw it get a little better at the Rocket Mortgage a few weeks back, but that's the difference right there, is just that I think he's just going to be struggling a little bit, and it's a toss-up between those two, 10 and 11.
I want to look outside the top 20 for some golfers who could finish inside the top 10. Who would you consider a sleeper?
Number 1 is Tristan Lawrence, 26-year-old South African. He's won 3 times in the past year, granted in Europe, lesser competition, but he made the cut last year at the Open Championship. He was in the 40s. He's a better player now. He might be able to get his way into the top 20, top 10, I guess possible, but if you see some good numbers for a top 20 for Tristan Lawrence, consider it. He's about 200 to 1 right now. And the other guy is Jordan Smith, not Jordan Spieth, Jordan Smith. He's a 30-year-old Englishman. He very quietly had a top 20, tied for 20th at the U.S. Open last month. He's also about 200 to 1 on some sports books. He also made the cut at the Open Championship last year. He finished 47th, so it's going to be a leap to get into the top 20 and certainly in the top 10.
Staying with your making the cut tier, 21 and onward, I noticed at number 22, a new face, MinWoo Lee. Who is he, and should he be on our radar for the Open Championship?
Yeah, he should be. And he really caught me a little bit by surprise when I was making these rankings. In the past year, 2022 majors and 2023 majors, he has a top 25 in every one of the 4. And plus, he's just coming off a 5th at the U.S. Open, 18th at the PGA. He was 21st last year at the Open Championship. He's only 24 years old. He has a lot of bad weeks on the PGA Tour, but obviously, by what I just said, he shows up in the biggest tournaments. So that's why I have him that high. And if you would have asked me last week, where is MinWoo Lee? He wouldn't have been anywhere near 22. He surprised me.
All right, it's bold prediction time, Len Hochberg. Who's going to win the 2023 Open Championship?
I think it's going to be Cam Smith. But Cam Smith is playing great now. He is best in these type of conditions. He might foil Rory Mcilroy again on Sunday, and what a bitter pill that would be for Rory Mcilroy. But Cam Smith just has everything going for him right now.
If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to get notified when RotoWire puts up new video content every single day. And right now you can see Len Hochberg's full set of rankings. It's linked in the video description below, and you can get a free subscription to RotoWire right now. Check us out for 2 days. Go to rotowire.com/try, put in your email, and the paywall unlocks. You can see Len's article, our fantasy football rankings are up, our rest of season baseball and dynasty rankings, everything is there. Go to rotowire.com/try.